Yes, I live on Northcliffe Crescent, which is just above, and we have direct view of the refinery and also the piers.
Yeah.
The biggest quality problem that we have is the quality of the tankers that come in. Like some of them are so out of date and huge, but we just had one break down and they had to bring it back in and unload it again to then fill it up again to send it back out.
Wow.
So that was where our concern was before, was to have some kind of legislation or someone overseeing the tankers and the capability of the tankers to be able to carry and transport without likelihood of spill or what it does to the environment.
I have talked to the port about that and Kinder Morgan about, Kinder Morgan looks after the oil until it hits the dock.
Right.
Then it's transferred to the tanker,
Yeah.
which can come from anywhere.
Exactly.
So I asked them, well, who inspects the tanker to see if it's seaworthy or not? And they say, well, you know, and I said, have you ever refused one? And they said, oh yeah, we've refused. You know, there's a few that have been refused. But the other thing is the Coast Guard is also in charge of monitoring spills, and of course we just got rid of the Coast Guard again, right?
Yeah.
So there is this, those are very good questions, and it's all about the chain.
Right.
It's about, you know, pump it out of the ground, put it down the pipeline, put it on the tankers, and it's the kind of, where the handoff happens is always the weakest part. So these are more questions that we need answered through the formal process that should have been answered a long time ago.
Well, I mean, even when they're loading it up, you get the raw egg smell, and you get all of the odors that are coming off, just because the containers just aren't up to date on being able to have the transition properly.
Yeah.
There will always be spill, like any time there's a transfer, there will always be a small amount of spill. Interesting question about insurance, right? As soon as oil hits the water, in my mind it's a bit of a free-for-all.
Yeah.
Because each shipper has their own insurance. So how do we know how much insurance, if there is a spill, how much is going to be covered by the shipper? There's like levels of responsibility. So as soon as that shipper's insurance money is gone, then it goes, I think, to provincial or to municipal level, or, you know, I actually forget them. Yeah, there's like a fund, but then once that runs out, it goes, you know, and it eventually trickles down. It ends up being taxpayers.
Well, especially when we just went through the spill, you know, just when they hit the pipeline, and watching that nightmare unravel.
Yeah.
And then they sued us.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh dear.
And then when it hit the water, and then how hard it was just to clean up that.
And I would say that, again, so this first process has started. Kinder Morgan has filed with the National Energy Board. It is possible to intervene. If there are people like yourself that are interested along the route, that are interested in intervening, I have been approached by a number of lawyers who said, well, they'll help. So if you are interested, I mean, I've got cards here. Please contact my office. I can put you in charge with these lawyers, and they could try to walk you through the process of what it takes to get involved. And of course, then, if you're represented by a lawyer, they're the ones who ask the questions. They're the ones, so you don't actually have to stand up there and get, you know, pick on Kinder Morgan head on. These lawyers can do it for you. So there is help out there. We just need to make all the connections.
So I'm just wondering, let's worst case scenario in the sense that this starts rolling and we've got up our action, we've got our things going on and stuff like that, but the government's still pressing, and Kinder Morgan basically has that right of way. They've been given that right of way. So at some point down the line, worst case scenario, they can expropriate basically anything along that right of way.
The one they have now?
At this point,
and
yes.
then the one that's approved later.
Yeah,
so
they can do it at that time. So that means there'll be a lot of people on the hill gone basically, because that's
it could be. I don't, you know, people accuse me of fear mongering and stuff.
No, I'm just saying worst case scenario.
Yeah,
but
worst
but where in the process at this point would that happen? I mean, we're going to start we've started the grassroots, we've started the thing rolling.
Phase 2.
Hopefully, it's going to get more and more and more, and it never comes to this idea of. I think it says somewhere around 2016 or something or other, construction begins. So it's great that we're doing this right now, that we can actually stop some of that or even all of it. But if this actually does go in, then 2016 is their proposed time of the event happening, right?
That's right.
So, okay.
So the second phase of the process is where they approve the 150-meter right-of-way, and that's critical.
Right.
Because that is where they
can
could decide
start
to leave these
expropriating.
neighborhoods entirely alone. Now I've been forcing Kinder Morgan on this. I've been saying, well, you say it's going to go along the right-of-way, so here's the right-of-way. Well, it may not go along the right-of-way. Okay, if it's not going along the right-of-way, where's it going to go? Well, we'll reveal build our map in 2 years. Well, that's not enough time, we need it
Smoke
now.
screens.
So I think
Smoke
this
screens.
is part of the tension, you'll get it through the summer, maybe they'll be forced with the map, and a lot of folks here can
So
pretty easily.
what is the second phase then?
It would start probably at the end of 2013, that's what they're saying.
Okay.
But this first one will tell us a bunch of information.
With regards to what Kinder Morgan is saying they're going to do and not doing, they've
Yes.
already started surveying. Because they've already started putting markers along the back lane, which is a bike path,
Yeah,
and they've already started showing where they're gonna run their line.
sure. I heard they got the pipe already, so.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is it really gonna be late 2013 that we?
I don't know, that's why now's the time to start doing something.
Yeah.
If we voted a provincial government that
Got a chance.
vetoes it, then it'll be never.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes on the prize, shortest path to victory.
Mr.
Provincial
Kennedy,
government that stands up.
you as a politician that sits in Ottawa, has Alberta ever been brought to task why they do not have refineries? Why can they not put in some refineries?
They have built a lot of new upgraders, so this, the bitumen-based crude, or whatever you want to call it, it has to actually go through two processes. It has to go through something called upgrading, which takes it almost to the level of diesel, and then it goes to a regular refinery, which takes it the other way. So they have built a number of upgraders in Alberta, but in fact, we've lost refineries. So what they do is they upgrade it to a certain point, ship it out. And then
Isn't there some pressure to be put on Alberta as to take their environmental people? I mean, they have already stated they don't want any more refineries.
Right. Well, the thing is now just keeping the refineries that we have. In the 1980s, we had 44 refineries in Canada. We've now got 15. And they were losing about one a year. And so one of the plans, the one that our leader Tom Mulcair has endorsed, is to have a west-east pipeline to make sure we can replace the imported oil we have on the east of Canada. So the oil sands right now about 2 million barrels a day. It basically comes out, Canadian consumption is about 2 million barrels a day. It's about equal. So if you did it right, you could basically, get somewhere around equilibrium without having to increase output. But that's still.
We take all the sand, they got all the oil.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem with the federal arrangement.
Because pipelines are worn from the inside. Any weld that you ever see,
Yep.
I mean, it's worn. It's worn. There you've got a rubber.
Yeah. So it's a good point and good question to keep asking and more people need to ask these questions.
But they've refused to build any refineries in Alberta.
I have talked to larger companies, Suncor or others, Cenovus, and they would be interested in refineries, either upgrading the ones that they have in the east of Canada, if they could get a secure supply, but they don't at the moment. And a lot of refineries in the east can't even refine this stuff.
Was it New Orleans with this Keystone that
Right.
can only refine this?
It's the Gulf states, down in the Gulf states. They have upgraded all their refineries to deal with the Alberta.
And back east haven't.
There's like one or two that do it, and that's it. I mean, what we've been calling for, since last year and working on now is an energy strategy for Canada. Saying like we have to look at our energy needs, not just like this oil stuff that we all use now, but moving ahead. And how do we use the royalties from the oil to help fund moving to renewable energy and those types of things. And we just need a plan. We don't even have one. And the Conservatives, the committee I sat on, initially they were in favor of this, and then halfway through they said, no, we're not going to do it. So that's where we are at the moment. Even though all the premiers want it too, they want this thing. So it is.
Mark stated that, eh?
Yeah, and the main driver has been the Alberta Premier, Redford. She's saying we need a strategy for Canada on this thing, and we don't have one yet. So
Overridden.
I guess.
Federal, it's killing us.